It's Monday after the opening weekend for Spider-Man No Way Home, and as the numbers continue to pour in over the coming weeks and months, this movie will prove to be record-setting. It already has been for Sony, but for the movie industry as a whole post-pandemic. But this is my favorite time in the press tour and reveals, the time when writers and directors, creatives, and even higher-ups over at Marvel Studios can talk about things they wanted to try in this film, ideas they may have had early on in pre-production or development that for one reason or another never make their way into the script, or in the case of this morning, things that were filmed but don't find a place in the final theatrical cut for a myriad of reasons, and we'll talk about some of those specifically in this video. But this morning we're learning about a deleted scene from the actress herself, Lexi Robb, a scene that would have related directly to Iron Man Tony Stark, a scene between Spider-Man and his daughter Morgan Stark. We're breaking it all down, but first, if you could consider hitting the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at this channel, and that's all we do. Everything from the official interviews, Easter egg breakdowns, recaps, and news like this, all the way to the anonymous 4chan plot leaks, industry insider scoops, and everything in between. So if that sort of thing's for you, consider hitting the subscribe button, leaving a comment down below. That'll automatically enter you to win our PS5 giveaways, the next of which is at 920,000 subscribers, and we are headlong into that. All you have to do, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. If you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, now to be specific, we're talking about the actress Lexi Robb, who portrayed a younger Morgan Stark at the beginning of Avengers Endgame, the one we've seen officially in the MCU and on screen, not the better known actress Catherine Langford in a deleted scene from Avengers Endgame where Tony Stark would have been able to meet her in the Soul World. We're not talking about her, we're talking about the younger actress. When sharing photos from the red carpet premiere, had to say, quote, "Okay, here's a teaser with all the photos, we'll be posting them all soon. I absolutely love this movie. Even though my part got cut, it was amazing to see everyone. Best night ever. I don't mind my part got cut. I missed my Marvel fam. This movie was amazing. Hope to start filming again soon." Now quickly, just to speculate here, she probably is talking about a different role. She's a professional actress, but in case she's talking about filming again soon as Morgan Stark, there is one series in particular where it would make sense, the upcoming Armor Wars, that's set to focus on Tony Stark's legacy and his armor getting out around the world. That's the one series I could see her coming back for. But besides that, and in regards to Spider-Man No Way Home, the weight her scene would have held, the invoking the imagery and or shadow again of Tony Stark, it's easy to see why, first and foremost, in a film that was already one of the longest in the MCU, and packed with not just cameos, but new MCU character introductions, that there wouldn't have been a spot that made sense for her in the film. Quite honestly, the first act, one of my only nitpicks, is that it does feel like it's going through the motions, just giving all the characters we've ever seen in a Spider-Man trilogy shine. Characters like Betty Brant, the three teachers including Hannibal Buress, and don't get me wrong, I loved those characters. They have some great scenes and lines from the previous films, and I'm glad they worked them in, but even after the earliest parts of Act 1 and as we press deeper into the rest of the film, they're forgotten about completely. So there were already so many characters who felt like they just needed one or two lines of dialogue to be included already. I can see why there wasn't room for her. But then think about the rest of the film as a whole was absolutely packed to the brim with Stark imagery and references. It starts at the beginning of the film and it never stops. Electro was using an arc reactor. So while I think the MCU, and especially Tom Holland's Peter Parker, will always be tied to Iron Man in this way, even with the spell having made everybody forget, the events still took place. To Peter Parker, that is still a huge part of his character, his memory, and his shaping, and always will be. Spider-Man Far From Home was really the film that was meant to show Peter Parker dealing with Tony Stark's death, as us, the audience, was still dealing with Tony Stark's death as well, to make room for Peter Parker and others in the MCU to step up and take his role. So again, while the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Peter Parker are always going to have this tie to Iron Man, this film really focused on Tobey and Andrew coming into this reality, learning from their mistakes as Spider-Man to make this Peter Parker the best Spider-Man he can be, focusing on that mentorship. Of course, absolutely hitting on the beat from Into the Spider-Verse. It worked so well in that film, they wanted to repeat it here. A scoop that we gave you all the way back in 2019, and that mentorship coming directly from other Spider-Men, the fact that they all have to deal with exactly the same circumstance, deal with the same situations, have the same gift and curse, that's something unique between them, something that no Iron Man or any other character could have given us. That's why it felt so good Into the Spider-Verse, and that's why it worked so well during Spider-Man No Way Home. There are going to be other connections, other mentorships going forward in the MCU in Phase 4, but I don't know if Iron Man will truly ever be dead and gone. That's why I definitely could see Morgan Stark showing up in other places in the future of the MCU. Not just Armor Wars, but perhaps something to do with Riri Williams, Ironheart, when that show finally comes around, especially if we're going to get Iron Lad, if anything will ever happen with Harley Keener's character. There are so many connections into the future of the MCU here, even just Rhodey in and of himself still having the armor. So yes, while there are tons of rumors about Multiverse of Madness, other characters, variants, and always the looming rumor of a return for AI Tony, I've spoken at length why I think that is a horrible idea. Why if Tony returns and you have him now just Robert Downey Jr. as a voice actor, you have to pay him huge money and you only have him as a voice actor. And of course then there's the problem of permanence. Once you bring him back as an AI, why wouldn't he always be around as an AI? Then you're always just paying Robert Downey Jr. to be a voice actor. Something about a lot of this doesn't make sense. Also from him as from a character standpoint and as a human being, retiring is nice. But like every athlete, after they spend a couple of years retired from the sport, if they're still capable of doing it, there's some itch to come back. And I'm sure this will not be the last time we speculate about Tony Stark's ultimate return in one way or another, and not as a variant of the Tom Cruise variety. Man, jeez, if we see that, guys, that's we're really going to new levels here. Guys, let me know all your thoughts down below in the comments about this and anything else with Spider-Man No Way Home. You guys have given me some crazy things to think about, theories, seen some of the same stuff I have. I love it. Continue to tell me all about it. We have theory videos coming out for days and the watch party tomorrow for the Hawkeye finale. I'm super stoked. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway.